The crystal champagne flute trembled in my hand as I watched my husband of 10 years raise his glass. I knew that smirk. That practiced, performative smile that always preceded something cruel, disguised as humor. My name is Caitlin, and this was supposed to be my birthday dinner. Everyone, John called out, tapping his glass with a silver spoon. The intimate gathering of 20 guests turned their attention to the head of the mahogany dining table. I'd like to propose a toast to my lovely wife on her 36th, oh, I'm sorry, 38th birthday. Polite laughter rippled through the room. I maintained my smile, perfected through years of practice. The crystal chandelier above cast dancing shadows across the faces of our guests, most of them John's colleagues and family friends. All part of the Weber inner circle. She always lies about her age, John continued, winking at his mother Virginia, who sat to his right, perfectly coiffed as always. But I suppose that's what happens when you marry a younger man. More laughter. Louder this time. Virginia leaned forward, her pearl necklace catching the light. "Don't worry, darling," she said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Your biological clock still has time, though not much, I'm afraid." I watched Camilla, our housekeeper, pause while serving dessert, her dark eyes meeting mine for a fraction of a second. She knew. She'd been there through all the fertility treatments, the miscarriages, the silent tears. "Thank you, Virginia," I replied, my voice steady. "Always thoughtful of you to bring that up." "Oh, come now," John's sister Ivy chimed in, probably trying to help but making it worse. "We're just having fun. It's your birthday." I took a slow sip of champagne, letting the bubbles burn my throat. In my clutch purse, safely tucked beside me, lay an envelope that had arrived 2 weeks ago. Its contents had changed everything. "You're right," I said, standing up. The chair scraped against the hardwood floor, drawing all eyes to me. "It is my birthday, and I'd like to make a toast of my own." John's smile faltered slightly. He wasn't used to me speaking up at these events. "To family," I began, raising my glass. "To truth. To all the secrets we keep, thinking they'll stay buried forever." Virginia's perfectly plucked eyebrows drew together. "Caitlin, dear, I'm not finished," I cut in, my voice silk over steel. "You know, it's funny how things come to light. How one little decision, like taking a DNA test, for example, can unravel decades of careful lies." The room went silent. Even the clink of silverware ceased. "What are you talking about?" John demanded, his face flushing red. I reached for my clutch, pulling out the envelope with deliberate slowness. "Tonight's a night for truths, isn't it? And I have quite a truth to share." I pulled out the papers inside, my hands steady now. "This DNA test says John isn't who he thinks he is. In fact, none of the Webers are who they think they are." Virginia's face went chalk white. Across the table, Reuben Peters, dear family friend, frequent visitor, and subject of so many old photographs, suddenly looked like he might be sick. "Would anyone like to guess what I found?" I asked, looking directly at Virginia. "Or should I just start reading?" The crystal champagne flute in John's hand shattered, sending shards and sparkling wine across the pristine white tablecloth. But I didn't flinch. I'd spent too many years flinching. "Caitlin," Virginia hissed, half rising from her chair. "Don't you dare." "Oh, but I do dare," I replied, unfolding the papers. After all, what's a birthday without a few surprises? And trust me, what I'm about to share will make John's little age joke seem positively charming in comparison. The room held its breath, waiting. 10 years of subtle cruelty, of snide remarks and public humiliation had led to this moment. I smiled, really smiled, for the first time that evening. Let's start with who John's real father is, shall we? 2 weeks earlier, I sat at my kitchen island, staring at my laptop screen in disbelief. The 23andMe results glowed back at me, a digital bomb waiting to explode. "This can't be right," I muttered, scrolling through the genetic matches again. The family tree displayed on my screen told an impossible story, one that completely contradicted the carefully curated Weber family history. My phone buzzed. Another text from Virginia. Don't forget to wear the blue dress to your birthday dinner. The photographer's coming, and you know how those colors pop in photos. I ignored it, my hands shaking as I dialed a number I hadn't called in over a decade. 3 rings. 4. Then, "What do you want, Caitlin?" My sister Ruby's voice was sharp, defensive. "I need to talk to you about our DNA results," I said, cutting straight to the point. "Did you ever take a test?" A long pause. "Why?" "Because I just got mine back, and there's something wrong. Or maybe everything's wrong. I don't know anymore." "Took you long enough to figure it out," Ruby said. "Your perfect in-laws aren't so perfect after all, are they?" I pressed my fingers to my temple. "What do you know?" "I'm not doing this over the phone. Meet me at Riverside Coffee tomorrow at noon. Don't be late." She hung up before I could respond. The next morning, I did something I'd never done before. While John was in the shower, I collected samples: his toothbrush, some hair from his comb. I ordered a paternity test kit online, overnight delivery. At Riverside Coffee, Ruby looked exactly as I remembered: wild curly hair, multiple ear piercings, that defiant tilt to her chin. She was already seated when I arrived, 2 untouched coffees on the table. "You look expensive," she said by way of greeting. I smoothed my designer dress self-consciously. "You look happy. Cut the small talk. Show me what you found." I pulled out my tablet, opening the DNA results. Ruby leaned forward, her eyes scanning the screen. "See?" I pointed to the genetic matches. "According to this, John has no biological connection to Robert Weber. None. But he shows up as a close match to Reuben Peters." "The family friend?" Ruby's eyebrows shot up. "The one who's always at their house?" "The very same." I swiped to another screen. "And look at this. There's more. The genetic markers suggest that we might be related to them too," Ruby finished. She sat back, taking a long sip of coffee. "Yeah, I know. I took my test 2 years ago." 2 years? And you never told me?" "You were too busy playing perfect wife in your perfect house with your perfect in-laws," she snapped. "Besides, it gets worse." My coffee went cold as Ruby laid out what she'd discovered. Old photographs, hospital records, a web of connections that made my head spin. "They did this to someone else too," she said finally, pulling out her phone. "Listen to this voicemail." A woman's voice, elderly but clear, filled the air between us. "Ruby, dear, this is Patricia. I knew your mother back then. What happened with Virginia and the Webers? It wasn't just about one family. They've been hiding things for generations. Call me back." My hands were steady as I saved the number. "Who is she?" "Mom's old friend. She knows everything." Ruby's eyes met mine. "Question is, what are you going to do about it?" I thought about Virginia's smirks, John's constant jabs, the years of subtle degradation. "I'm going to wait," I said slowly, "until my birthday dinner, when everyone's there, when they think they're in control." Ruby's smile was sharp. "Now you're thinking like a Collins sister." As I drove home, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Patricia, your mother tried to warn Virginia's husband once. They destroyed her for it. Be careful, dear." I deleted the message, but not before saving the number. In my rearview mirror, I caught sight of my reflection. Calm, collected, cold. The paternity test kit was waiting on my doorstep when I got home. Inside, I could hear Virginia's voice, probably planning my birthday dinner with Camila. I picked up the package, smiling. Let them plan. Let them laugh. In 2 weeks, they'd learn what it meant to underestimate me. The paternity test results arrived on a Tuesday, confirming what I already suspected. I tucked them away in my home office safe, next to a growing collection of evidence that would shatter the Weber family's carefully constructed facade. "Caitlin?" Ivy's voice echoed through the house. "Are you home?" I quickly locked the safe. "Up here!" Ivy appeared in my doorway, looking uncomfortable in her designer outfit. John's sister had always been the kindest of the bunch, though that wasn't saying much. "Mom wanted me to drop off some old photo albums for your birthday slideshow," she said, setting down a heavy box. "Though I don't know why she's bothering. She'll hate every picture you choose anyway." I pulled out an album, and there he was, Reuben Peters, in photo after photo. Family vacations, Christmas parties, casual Sunday brunches, always there, always close to Virginia. "God, Uncle Reuben was around a lot back then," I commented casually, watching Ivy's reaction. She stiffened slightly. "He and Dad were best friends." "Really? Because in most of these photos, Robert's not even there." Ivy sat down heavily on my office chair. "What are you getting at?" "You tell me." I flipped to a photo of young John with Reuben at a baseball game. "They look alike, don't they?" "Stop it," Ivy whispered, but her face had gone pale. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I? Your mother and Reuben were close back in the day, weren't they? Those were your exact words at Christmas last year." Ivy's hands trembled as she reached for the album. "You don't understand. Mom and Dad, it was complicated. Complicated enough to lie about paternity, to keep Reuben around for decades, watching his own son grow up calling him uncle." "How did you—" Ivy stopped herself, pressing her lips together. "DNA doesn't lie, Ivy. Neither do old hospital records." She stood up abruptly, pacing the room. "You can't tell John. It would destroy him. Like the way your family's been trying to destroy me. The constant jabs about my age, my fertility, my worth. That's different. Is it?" I pulled out another album. "Because I found something else while digging through your family's history. Something in your father's old journal." Ivy froze. "What journal?" I led her to the attic, where I discovered the leather-bound book hidden behind a false panel. Virginia had insisted I never come up here, claiming it was too dusty for guests. Now I knew why. "Read it," I said, handing her the journal. Ivy's eyes widened as she scanned the pages. Robert's elegant handwriting detailed years of suspicion, anger, and eventually resignation. But more than that, it revealed a pattern of abuse, emotional and sometimes physical, that Virginia had carefully hidden from the world. "He knew," Ivy whispered. "Dad knew about Mom and Reuben. And about the others," I added softly. "The women who came before me. The ones who tried to speak up and were silenced." Tears rolled down Ivy's cheeks. I thought I was the only one who saw how she really was. How they both were." "You're not alone anymore." I took her hand. "Help me, Ivy. Help me expose the truth." She pulled away, wiping her eyes. "I can't. They're still my family." "Are they? Or are they just people who've held power over you through fear and manipulation?" Ivy stared at the journal, then at the photo albums scattered around us. Decades of lies captured in smiling snapshots. "I need time to think," she said finally, heading for the attic stairs. "We don't have much time," I called after her. "The birthday dinner's in 3 days." She paused at the top of the stairs. "What are you planning?" "Justice," I replied simply. "For everyone they've hurt." Ivy nodded slowly. I'll think about it." After she left, I returned to the photos. Virginia and Reuben at a garden party, their bodies angled toward each other despite Robert standing right there. John at his college graduation, Reuben beaming with unmistakable paternal pride. My phone buzzed. A text from Ruby. "Patricia wants to meet. Tomorrow. She says there's more we need to know." I closed the album, my resolve hardening. 3 days until the dinner. 3 days until the truth would finally set us all free, or burn everything to the ground. Patricia's house smelled like lavender and old books. She served us tea in delicate cups while Ruby paced the small living room, unable to sit still. "Your mother was my dearest friend," Patricia began, her weathered hands smoothing her skirt. "What Virginia did to her, to all of us. It's time you knew." "All of us?" I leaned forward. "Virginia wasn't just your mother's friend," Patricia said. "They were cousins, though Virginia never acknowledged it publicly. Your grandmother and Virginia's mother were sisters." Ruby stopped pacing. "What?" "That's why the DNA test showed a connection," I whispered. Patricia nodded. "Virginia married into money. The Webbers. She was desperate to erase her humble beginnings. When your mother started asking questions about family history, about certain irregularities in birth records, Virginia turned on her." "Irregularities?" Ruby sat down hard on the couch. "Reuben Peters isn't just John's father," Patricia said quietly. "He's connected to both families. He's your mother's half-brother." The teacup trembled in my hand. "Which makes him our uncle." "And John's father," Ruby added, looking sick. "Jesus Christ." "Virginia knew all along," Patricia continued. "She used that knowledge to control everyone around her. Your mother threatened to expose the truth once. The next day, she lost her job, her reputation, and eventually, her children. I thought of our mother, who'd abandoned us when I was 12 and Ruby was 9. The woman I'd blamed for so many years. "She didn't abandon us," Ruby said, as if reading my thoughts. "She was driven away." "Virginia made sure she had nothing left," Patricia confirmed. "Just like she's tried to do to you, Caitlin. The constant humiliation, the comments about children. It's all part of her pattern." "But why?" I asked. "Why marry Reuben's son if she knew the connection?" "Power," Patricia said simply. "Control. The Webers had money, but Virginia had secrets. She's built her entire life on other people's shame." A knock at the door made us all jump. Patricia answered it, and to my surprise, Ivy stood there, looking nervous. "I followed you," she admitted. "I had to know what you were planning." "How much did you hear?" I demanded. "Enough." Ivy's voice cracked. "All these years, I thought something was wrong with our family. I just didn't know how deep it went." Ruby moved toward her. "Are you going to tell your mother?" "No." Ivy's response was immediate. "I'm done protecting her. I'm done being afraid." Patricia brought another teacup. "There's more you need to know. About Robert's journal. About the other women Virginia destroyed." For the next hour we listened as Patricia unveiled decades of manipulation, affairs, and cruelty. Virginia hadn't just hidden the truth about John's paternity. She'd orchestrated a complex web of lies that had ruined multiple lives. "I have proof," Patricia said finally, pulling out a box of old letters. "Your mother gave these to me for safekeeping. Letters between Virginia and Reuben, hospital records, photographs, everything you need to expose them." "The birthday dinner," Ivy said suddenly. "Mom's invited everyone who matters. All the people she's ever hurt will be there." I thought of the DNA results in my safe, the journal entries, and now these letters. "It's perfect." "They'll try to stop you," Patricia warned. "Virginia won't go down without a fight." "Let her try," Ruby said fiercely. "We're not scared little girls anymore." Ivy pulled out her phone. "I can help. I know where Mom keeps her private files, and I have access to the house security system." "Are you sure?" I asked her. "Once we do this, there's no going back." "I've spent my whole life watching her destroy people," Ivy replied, "including my brother. It ends now." As we left Patricia's house, Ruby grabbed my arm. "You know this could backfire. We could lose everything." I looked at my sister, really looked at her for the first time in years. We had the same determined set to our jaw, the same fire in our eyes. "We already lost everything once," I said. "This time, we're taking it back." My phone buzzed. A text from Camilla. "Mrs. Weber is looking for you. She wants to discuss the dinner arrangements. I smiled grimly. Let the games begin. I found Camila in the kitchen, aggressively polishing silverware. Her normally composed demeanor was cracking at the edges. Mrs. Weber is waiting in the study, she said without looking up. Camilla. I closed the kitchen door. How long have you known? The silver fork in her hand clattered to the counter. Known what? About Reuben, about Virginia, about everything. She finally met my eyes, and I saw something there I'd never noticed before. A deep, old pain. They'll crush you, she whispered, like they crushed the others, like they crushed me. I sat down across from her. Tell me. I was young, stupid, Camilla began, her voice barely audible. Reuben, he has a way of making you feel special. I didn't know about Virginia then, about their history. My stomach turned. You and Reuben? 15 years ago, I got pregnant. Her hands trembled. Virginia found out. She offered me a choice. Give up the baby and take a position in their household, or face ruin. The baby, I breathed. What happened? Closed adoption. Virginia arranged everything, said it was best for everyone. Camilla's laugh was bitter. Best for her, you mean? Another secret to hold over people's heads. Do you know where? Arizona. Camilla pulled out her phone, showing me a photo of a teenage girl. I found her last year. She looks just like him. Does Reuben know? Virginia made sure he never found out, just like she made sure Robert never had proof about John. Just suspicions. I reached for her hand. Help me, Camilla. Help me expose them all. She pulled away. You don't understand. Virginia has files on everyone. Photos, recordings, evidence of every indiscretion. She calls it her insurance policy. Ivy can get those files. It's not just that. Camilla glanced nervously at the door. Virginia's planning something for your birthday dinner. I overheard her on the phone with her lawyer. Something about having you declared mentally unstable if you try to cause trouble. I smiled. Let her try. This isn't funny, Caitlin. The kitchen door opened. John stood there, his expression unreadable. What's not funny? He asked. Camilla jumped up. The cake design. For the birthday dinner. I was telling Caitlin it might be too elaborate. John's eyes narrowed. You've been acting strange lately, both of you. He turned to me. Mother's waiting in the study. Don't keep her waiting. After he left, Camilla grabbed my arm. Tonight, after everyone's gone, I'll tell you everything I know. I found Virginia in the study, surrounded by party plans and seating charts. She looked up with her practiced smile. Darling, there you are. We need to discuss the dinner arrangements. Of course, I said smoothly, sitting down. It's important everything is perfect. Exactly. She pushed a guest list toward me. I've taken the liberty of inviting a few extra people. Old family friends. I scanned the list. Reuben's name was there, along with several others I recognized from Patricia's stories. Virginia was gathering all her allies. How thoughtful, I said. The more the merrier. Virginia's smile tightened. Yes, well, it's important to have guests, for such an important celebration. Witnesses, I repeated softly. Interesting choice of words. Her pen paused. Figure of speech, darling. Like when you told Camila it was just a figure of speech that you'd destroy her if she ever told anyone about the baby. The pen snapped in Virginia's hand, ink staining her perfectly manicured fingers. I don't know what you think you know, she said, her voice deadly quiet, but I suggest you remember who you're dealing with. I stood up, smoothing my skirt. Oh, I know exactly who I'm dealing with. The question is, do you? As I walked out, I heard her phone ring. Through the door, I caught fragments. Yes, everything's arranged. No, she won't be a problem. The papers are ready. I texted Ruby. They're planning something for the dinner. We need to move faster. Her reply came instantly. Already on it. Patricia found more letters. You won't believe what's in them. I looked back at the study door, where Virginia was still plotting my downfall. Two could play at that game. The annual Weber Charity Gala buzzed with expensive perfume and practiced laughter. I stood at the edge of the ballroom, watching Virginia work the crowd like a master puppeteer. Every smile, every touch was calculated. Ready? Ruby appeared beside me, dressed in black. Everything's in place? She nodded. Ivy copied the files from Virginia's computer. Patricia and Camilla are by the audiovisual booth. The slideshow is ready. John stumbled toward the microphone, already 3 drinks in. Perfect timing. Ladies and gentlemen, he slurred slightly, I want to thank you all for coming to support my mother's foundation. She's always been an inspiration, teaching us the importance of family, loyalty, truth. I caught Reuben shifting uncomfortably in his seat. Speaking of truth, Camilla's voice cut through the room as she stepped up to the microphone. John blinked in surprise as she gently moved him aside. Camilla, Virginia warned, half rising from her chair. No, Camilla's voice was firm. I've been silent for 15 years. Not anymore. She turned to the crowd. You all know me as the Webers' loyal housekeeper. What you don't know is that I had a child that Virginia made disappear. Gasps rippled through the room. Lies. Virginia stood up. Security. I have proof, Camilla continued, her voice stronger. Hospital records, adoption papers, and DNA tests proving who the father is. She looked directly at Reuben. Would you like to tell them, or should I? Reuben's face went ash white. This is ridiculous, John stumbled forward. Mother, what is she talking about? Oh, John. I stepped up beside Camilla. You might want to sit down for this part. Ivy appeared at the audiovisual booth. The lights dimmed, and the projector hummed to life. What you're about to see, I announced, is the true Weber family history. Virginia, you taught me the importance of keeping records. Thank you for that lesson. The first slide appeared. Virginia and Reuben, young and intimate, dated 9 months before John's birth. Then hospital records, DNA results, Robert's journal entries. Stop this immediately, Virginia shrieked. Why? Ruby stepped forward. Afraid everyone will learn how you destroyed our mother? Your own cousin? The crowd murmured as more evidence appeared on screen. Letters, photos, proof of decades of manipulation and lies. You see, I continued, my voice carrying across the stunned silence. Virginia built her empire on secrets. She used them to control people, to destroy lives. Ask Camilla about her daughter. Ask Reuben about his sons. Yes, sons, plural. Ask my mother. Oh, wait, you can't. Because Virginia made sure she lost everything when she threatened to expose the truth. John staggered toward me. You're lying. Mother, tell them she's lying. Your mother can't deny DNA, John, I said softly. You're not a Weber. You never were. Ask your real father. I pointed to Reuben, who looked ready to faint. Virginia lunged for the microphone, but Ivy blocked her path. Not this time, Mom. Ivy's voice was steel. I found your files. All of them. Including the ones about what really happened to Dad. The room erupted in chaos. Virginia's carefully curated world crumbled in real time as years of secrets spilled into the open. You think you've won, Virginia hissed at me. You've destroyed this family. No, I replied calmly. You did that yourself years ago. I'm just turning on the lights. John grabbed my arm roughly. You planned this? All of it? Ivy stepped between us. Let her go, John. You don't get to play victim anymore. Not after how you've treated her. Security arrived, but they weren't sure who to remove, the wealthy socialite having a meltdown, or the staff revealing dark secrets. I have one more announcement, Camilla said into the microphone. My daughter? She's here tonight. Virginia's been keeping her close all along, as an intern at the foundation. Another way to control me. A young woman stood up from the back of the room. The resemblance to Reuben was undeniable. As the room dissolved into shocked conversations and hurried phone calls, I watched Virginia's perfect world shatter like a crystal champagne flute. Ruby squeezed my hand. "Happy birthday, sis." For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. Back at my birthday dinner, the moment crystallized as I held up those DNA results. The room felt different now, charged with the electricity of unspoken truths finally finding voice. "You made me feel replaceable," I said, looking directly at John. "Every joke, every public humiliation, every time you let your mother tear me down, you thought I would just take it forever." "Caitlin," John warned, his knuckles white around his empty glass. "Think very carefully about what you're doing." "Oh, I have. For weeks." I turned to Virginia. "Did you know your precious son has been sleeping with his secretary? The same way Reuben slept with you while Robert was away on business?" Virginia's face contorted. "You spiteful little—" "I'm not finished." I pulled out my phone, scrolling through texts. "Here's a message from John to his secretary. Don't worry about Caitlin. Mother's taking care of that problem." I looked up. "Were you planning to have me committed, Virginia? Like you did to Robert when he threatened to expose the truth?" Gasps rippled through the dinner guests. "It's all lies," John sputtered. "Really?" Ivy stood up. "Then explain these." She distributed copies of Virginia's private files to the guests. Bank transfers, medical records, proof of blackmail. Mother's been quite busy. "You ungrateful child," Virginia spat at Ivy. "After everything I've done for you." "You mean like covering up when Dad tried to kill himself?" Ivy's voice cracked. "Or making sure Camilla's baby disappeared? Or destroying Caitlin's mother?" The guests began whispering, some already edging toward the door. "You want to know the real reason I never had children?" I addressed the room. "Not because I couldn't, because I wouldn't bring an innocent child into this toxic cesspool you call a family." John lunged forward, but Ruby stepped between us. "Touch her, and I swear to God." "Your mother was weak," Virginia sneered. "Just like you." "My mother was your cousin," I corrected. "And she tried to save Robert from you. That's why you destroyed her." Reuben finally spoke, his voice trembling. "Virginia, we should tell them." "Shut up," Virginia screamed. "You don't get to speak." "Actually," Camila said from the doorway, "everyone gets to speak now. No more secrets. No more control." The young woman from the gala, Camila's daughter, stood beside her. "Hello, Father," she said to Reuben. John staggered back, the reality of his true parentage finally hitting him. "All this time—" "Yes," I said softly. "All this time you've been mocking me, belittling me, while living a lie yourself." "Get out," John growled. "All of you, get out." "Gladly." I picked up my purse. "But first, let me make a toast. To the Webbers, a family built on lies, sustained by cruelty, and finally undone by the truth." "You'll regret this," Virginia hissed. "I'll make sure of it." "No, you won't." Ivy held up a flash drive. "Because I have copies of everything. One wrong move, and these files go to every news outlet in the country." I walked to the door, then turned back one last time. "You made me feel replaceable, but I am the only one here who knows her worth." The dinner guests erupted in unexpected applause. Years of witnessing the Webbers' subtle cruelty had apparently left its mark. Virginia collapsed into her chair, her perfectly crafted world crumbling around her. John threw his glass against the wall, shards scattering like the pieces of our marriage. Camilla and her daughter linked arms and walked out with their heads high. Ivy followed, not looking back at her mother. Reuben sat alone, looking old and broken. Outside, Ruby waited by her car. "You're free now," she said. "But are you ready for what's next?" I looked back at the house where I'd spent 10 years of my life, playing the perfect wife, enduring the perfect humiliation. You know what's funny? I said. I actually am grateful to them. Grateful? They taught me exactly who I don't want to be. I got into the car. Let's go home. As we drove away, I caught a last glimpse of Virginia in the window, watching us leave. For the first time in a decade, I didn't feel small under her gaze. I felt powerful. The morning sun streamed through my new apartment windows as I sipped coffee, reading the latest headlines on my tablet. Weber Foundation under investigation. The story had exploded exactly as Virginia had always feared. My phone buzzed. Ruby. Turn on Channel 7. Now. I flicked on the TV to see Virginia being escorted from her house in handcuffs. The reporter's voice filled my living room. Allegations of fraud, blackmail, and conspiracy dating back decades. Sources say the investigation began after evidence was provided by family members. Another text, this time from Ivy. She tried to destroy the evidence last night. Too late. The police have everything. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find Camilla and her daughter, Anna. We're moving to Arizona, Camilla announced, stepping inside. Anna got accepted to college there, but we wanted to thank you first. I should be thanking you, I said. Your courage that night. Our courage, Anna corrected. All of us together. She handed me an envelope. This came to the house for you. I grabbed it before they sealed everything for the investigation. Inside was a letter from John's law firm. Divorce papers, probably. But underneath was something else. A handwritten note from Robert, Virginia's husband, dated just before his death. Dear Caitlin, it read, if you're reading this, you've discovered the truth. I was too weak to fight Virginia, but I kept records of everything. The safety deposit box key enclosed will lead you to the rest. Make it right, for all of us. My hands shook as I held up the small key. The doorbell rang again. This time it was Patricia, holding a familiar leather journal. Found another one, she said. Robert kept multiple journals. This one has names, dates, bank accounts, everything Virginia used to control people. We need to give this to the investigators, I started, but Patricia shook her head. First, there's something you need to see. She opened to a marked page. About your mother. I read quickly, my heart pounding. She's alive? In Seattle? Virginia didn't just drive her away, Patricia explained. She threatened to hurt you and Ruby if your mother ever made contact, but she's been watching over you all this time. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. John tried to access your old accounts. Don't worry. I froze everything when I saw what was coming. Reuben. He's trying to make amends, Camilla said softly. We all are. The TV caught my attention again. Ivy was speaking to reporters. The Weber Foundation will be restructured. All the money my mother stole, all the lives she damaged, we're going to make it right. Ruby burst through the door, waving her phone. The police want statements from everyone. They're building a massive case. And guess who's talking? Everyone Virginia ever blackmailed. I looked around my living room, at Camilla and her daughter, finally free to be family, at Patricia, who never stopped fighting for truth, at Ruby, my sister, my strength. What do we do now? Anna asked. We rebuild, I said. Not just our lives, but everyone's lives that Virginia touched. With Robert's evidence and the Foundation's resources. Already on it, Ivy texted. Meeting tomorrow to start the Victim Restitution Fund. You in? Another text arrived. From Seattle. A photo of a woman with my eyes and Ruby's smile. Below it, 2 words. I'm ready. Ruby saw the message and grabbed my hand. Mom, she whispered. The morning sun caught the edge of Robert's journal, still open on my coffee table. Next to it, John's unread divorce papers waited. Let him have the house, the cars, the lifestyle. I had something better. I had truth. I had family. Not the fake, polished kind, but the real messy, healing kind. My phone buzzed one final time. Virginia, from jail. You'll pay for this. I smiled and deleted the message without responding. Let her rage. Let her threaten. Her power was built on secrets, and secrets don't survive in sunlight. Outside my window, the city stretched alive and waiting. Somewhere out there, our mother was waiting too. And for the first time since this all began, I wasn't afraid of what came next. Some candles don't light with a match. They wait for lightning, and when the storm clears, everything is new.